So Gronlandic Edit is, the title, is referencing the neighborhood that we lived in Norway, and the anxiety that I was feeling, like the paranoia, the fear had gotten so extreme where I couldn't even really like leave the house. And Norway in the winter is pretty oppressive. I mean, the sun is only up for a few hours, it's cold, it's gray. And if you don't get into what it has to offer as far as like, I don't know what, like skiing or ice skating, I don't know, like snowy things. If you're kind of just like a depressed person, it's pretty extreme, like what you have to go through, no sunlight, or just the way it feels, I feel I have like, pretty bad seasonal depression anyway. So like, that's like a very extreme environment where you get almost no sunlight. It's just like, you feel like, it's just endlessly dark, endlessly nighttime. And if you sleep in because you're depressed, then you miss whatever little light you might have gotten. So, I was joking. I was like kind of just like playing around, like I'm satisfied living in a friend's apartment, only leaving once a day to buy groceries. So yeah, that song is just about my state of mind while I was living in Norway and being in that depressed, anxiety-ridden state of mind.
I am satisfied, hiding in our friend's apartment, only leaving once a day to buy some groceries. Daylight, I'm so absent-minded, nighttime meeting new anxieties. So am I erasing myself? Hope I'm not erasing myself. I guess it would be nice to give my heart to a god, but which one do I choose?
That's sort of like, wanting to have some sort of religious, or not religious, but spiritual life, or some sort of grounding aspect in your life, but feeling like it's all bullshit. And so what do you do? Even, it'd be nice to give my heart to a god, but which one do I choose? That's like the joke, is like, it's all made up. So like, what fictional god are you going to give your heart to? And like, not really feeling like, oh, this is like a legitimate thing. Like the people who do this are just, delusional, just living in a fantasy world. But still, it's a very real need. That's why I don't really, try not to criticize people for being Catholic, even though like I grew up thinking it was bullshit, because I understand the need. I understand like why people want to have that. It's terrifying, to not have that in a lot of ways if you think about it at all. So I get it. I understand the need. I'm like everybody else. I have the same need, but I can't do it if I don't believe in it. So it's pretty much about that.
The church is filled with losers, psycho or confused. I just want to hold the divine in my mind and forget all the beauties wasted.
And also growing up Catholic as well. Like I was raised Catholic, went to church for 18 years every Sunday, went to Catholic school. My mom was a Bible studies teacher. But I always thought it was a joke. I never, for even a millisecond, believed any of it or cared about any of it. But I still had to go. So it was like kind of torturous to just have to sit there in church and just see this weird charade play out every Sunday. And like the whole thing of like getting up with my sisters and my brother and all of us piling into the car, and the smell of perfume and makeup, and it was a very intense, visceral experience. And then I was even an altar boy for a while, so like wearing like the weird little child vestments and shaking the incense can and doing that whole thing. So yeah, definitely raised in the church or whatever, but never really thinking like this is normal or this is like a good thing for humans to be involved with. But I think that, you know, having that experience was actually cool for me, just to kind of like see what life is like inside of that world, you know, the weird, like uptight conservative world. I'm like, God, how do you fucking survive? Like nothing, what like thrills you? What excites you? Just every day being exactly the same? Like how could that give any meaning to your life? And the craziest thing is like with everybody and anything that like you could change so quickly and everything up to that point just dissolves because now you're a new person and a new thing. So there's like absolutely no reason to cling to any feeling that you have about what you are, what your self is, or whatever your identity. So I think that I knew that at an early age, but it's interesting when you're not surrounded by other people who are like, yeah, I agree with you, that makes sense. You know, you're surrounded by people like, you're crazy.
Yes, it would be nice to help in your escape from patterns your parents designed. All the party people dancing for the indie star, but he's the worst fake goodbye in this head. I forget.
I understand and like appreciate the function of performance and also the voyeuristic function of like going to see another person perform, that it can be like very transportive and cathartic, you know, to not only be the performer but also to be in the audience and watch somebody else performing. Because, you know, it's like they say in dreams you're every character, and I think it holds true in life in a lot of ways. We're every person that we see as well as being ourselves. So I think of, you know, that like I guess it would be nice to help in your escape, and just sort of realizing though, like as the person that's on stage and prancing around and being cheered for, it can be like actually great because, you know, it feels exciting, obviously, to be prancing around on stage and people are into it. But at the same time, I know it's sort of like an empty thing that like eventually people leave, you're alone again, and you can't just be the indie star, you know, for yourself as well. So it's kind of a fleeting moment. So in a lot of ways, like fleeting moments, I feel like are potentially kind of superficial in that they can't really like fulfill you completely forever.